from the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Coming up on the Primetime News Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi-TV, tributes continue to pour in from around the world for departed anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela. His body, meanwhile, will lie in state from December 11 until 15, with an official memorial service at the FNB Stadium expected. 58-year-old Upper East Region farmer Alhaji Awudu Karim adjudged National Best Farmer. Ghana to face Germany, Portugal and USA in Group G at 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Enjoy News on Multi-TV adjudged Best News Station at RTP Awards. We also have business news and a special piece on Kwame Nkrumah welcoming the departed Nelson Mandela on the other side. Stay tuned.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Now, crowds of people have been gathering around the world in solemn ceremonies to mourn the passing of iconic anti-apartheid figure Nelson Mandela, who died Thursday at his home in the Johannesburg suburb of Houghton. Prior to his death, there were reports of an unusually large family gathering at his home, with a number of government vehicles also present during the evening. South African President Jacob Zuma announced late Thursday that after years suffering from health ailments, the man known widely by his clan name of Madiba died at 8:50 p.m. South African time, surrounded by family. He spent nearly 3 months in hospital with a lung infection and has been receiving intensive home-based care since he was released from hospital in September. Mandela, who died at 95, led South Africa's transition from white minority rule in the 1990s after 27 years in prison. Now, speaking at the 2013 Farmers' Day celebrations in Sogahopa in the Volta region, Vice President Pakwesi Emis Arthur described the late South African president as a leader whose life was dedicated towards uplifting the lives of others. A minute's silence was observed in his honor.
The rest of the world is honoring a unique individual whose life personified the struggle of oppressed people for dignity and for recognition. Nelson Mandela was magnanimous in victory, forgiving his oppressors, reconciling with them, and mobilizing them for the struggle of nation building. I'd like to invite all of us to stand up for a few moments in recognition of this great African and human being.
Now, President John Mahama, who arrived in Paris, France, to news of the death of the former South African leader, wrote a tribute which was published in the New York Times about how Mandela taught a continent to forgive. I read excerpts of it. Now, freedom on the African continent was a reality for which we were willing to fight. Nevertheless, I think we'd resigned ourselves to the likelihood that Mandela would remain a prisoner until his death, and South Africans would not experience equality until well after our lifetimes. Then on February 11, 1990, the miraculous happened. Mandela was released. The world was spellbound. We wondered what we would do if we were in his shoes. We all waited for an indescribable rage, a call for retribution that any reasonable mind would have understood. 27 years of his life gone, day after day of hard labor in a limestone quarry, chipping away at white rock, and a bright and merciless sun without benefit of protective eyewear had virtually destroyed his tear ducts and for years robbed Mandela of his ability to cry. Yet the man insisted on forgiveness. To go to prison because of your convictions, he said, and be prepared to suffer for what you believe in is something worthwhile. It is an achievement for a man to do his duty on earth irrespective of the consequences. He adds, it wasn't just Nelson Mandela who was transformed during those years of his imprisonment. We all were. And Africa is all the better because of that. Now, former Ghanaian President John Agyekum Kufuor has described the passing away of the 95-year-old Nelson Mandela as expected but shocking. Speaking to Joy News, John Agyekum Kufuor described Mandela as a man who stood by principles of equality for all, despite a person's race, gender, or religious affiliation.
Legacy of tolerance, respect for humanity, and love of humanity too. When he eventually came to power, after 27 years of imprisonment under the apartheid regime, he didn't display the bitterness that perhaps most of us would have displayed. And he rather propounded a concept of inclusiveness. He talked of a rainbow society, and he encouraged his people and government to hold together to move their country forward. I believe we can all learn from that. When we get a chance to become leaders, we have to eschew any trait or character that would seem like dividing. And divide and rule policy should be out of the system altogether. We should all hold together. The important thing is that we should all feel we share common citizenship, which is the main thing, citizenship with rights, and that the leader is only ahead of us to motivate us to grow into a genuine and real nationhood. You can't say you are Ghanaian and at the same time do things that would discriminate against people who are not, say, from your tribe or your religion or, say, gender or whatever. No. The main thing is you are human, you are Ghanaian. So the leader should know that, and the leader should be there not to lord it on us, but to serve all of us. And you do that with, we try very hard with transparency and accountability, because the power really is in the people. And if they accept or do you the honor to come and lead them, you don't grab it and then turn it on them. That's not right. The Constitution, which we must all uphold, does not allow that. Mandela was a fine example of such leadership.
Former Ghanaian President Jerry Rawlings, in a tribute to late South African President Mandela, says the world has lost not only a statesman, but also a grand pillar of sincerity in global affairs, originality. Jerry Rawlings, who met Mandela on several occasions, wrote the following tribute to Mandela, describing as a man of great spiritual elegance. Mandela stood as a symbol of resilience, fortitude, patience, and tolerance. He also exhibited exceptional leadership qualities which will shape and inspire generations to come. I had deep respect for Mandela, the man, the institution, because he rose from decades of fruitless persecution and sowed a unifying seed for South Africa. I have on occasion remarked on how he stood against the politics of retribution and worked with Frederick de Klerk to further the cause of a unified post-apartheid South Africa. Madiba was a man of great spiritual elegance, a man of towering moral height. His moral compass pointed out to millions around the world a moral mandate strong enough to prompt defiance of leaders bent on propping up the apartheid regime. What will now be lost to the world is the unifying effect of a man who held to his sense of purpose in the face of Western governments who branded him for years as terrorist when he was a dignified freedom fighter. We have lost not only a statesman, but also a grand pillar of sincerity in global affairs, originality, and one who demonstrated a pure sense of humanity. My sincere condolences go to the family, government, and people of South Africa on the passing of our dear father, brother, and friend. World leaders have also paid tribute, including President Obama, who said Mandela embodied the promise of change for the better. UK Prime Minister David Cameron said a great light has dawned out in the world, adding he was a man of compassion.
And we've lost one of the most influential, courageous, and profoundly good human beings that any of us will share time with on this earth. He no longer belongs to us. He belongs to the ages.
Tonight, one of the brightest lights of our world has gone out. Nelson Mandela was not just a hero of our time, but a hero of all time. The first president of a free South Africa, a man who suffered so much for freedom and justice, and a man who, through his dignity and through his triumph, inspired millions. The strongest impression of all when you met him was of his extraordinary compassion and generosity and forgiveness. Tonight, families across Britain will mourn with his family and everyone in South Africa. Your greatest son has moved millions, and I believe that his inspiration for the future will be every bit as powerful as the extraordinary things that he achieved in his remarkable life.
Now, the body of departed anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela will lie in State of the Union building in Pretoria, South Africa from December 11 to 15, 2013. South African High Commissioner Jeanette Ndlovu, who announced this at a news conference here in Accra, added there will be an official memorial service at the FNB Stadium in Johannesburg, which is expected to be attended by global leaders.
The South African High Commissioner described Nelson Mandela as an icon of hope and reconciliation whose legacy goes beyond his home country.
He gave his entire life and sacrifice for the betterment of humanity. He constantly cared deeply for the welfare of the underprivileged, the aged, and dedicated his entire time to children. He always put the lives and welfare of others before his own and his family. Madiba was truly an icon that this world has ever produced in this century. Although we are privileged to claim him as the father of our nation, his legacy has gone way beyond our borders and into the continent and indeed the rest of the world.
The funeral rites, the High Commissioner said, will start with a Thanksgiving service on December 10.
We are appreciative of the prayers that came from all corners of the globe to try and save Madiba's life. And we thank you because he did indeed, through your prayers, extend his life with us. Now we say the giant has fallen. The hero has passed on to another life, and we as Africans and the people of South Africa can only say Aiko.
The late former President Mandela will be buried at Kunu, his village in the Eastern Cape of South Africa.
May his soul rest in perfect peace. We'll be back after the break. In other news, the police in Asokwa and Ashanti region have arrested 3 suspects over recent robberies at Ahingsang. The suspects have been linked to 2 separate incidents. Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
On the 1st of December this year, a police patrol team intercepted Alhaji Rashid and 2 others now on the run on a motorbike with registration number M10GR1044 at Ahingsang. The suspects, however, sped off when they were signaled to stop, and the patrol team could only succeed in arresting Rashid. A black polythene bag containing a quantity of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp and 125 wrappers of a white substance also suspected to be cocaine were found on him. Alhaji Rashid is said to have unsuccessfully attempted to bribe the policemen with 420 Ghana cedis. In another incident, one Kofi, who is now at large, is said to have mobilized Prince Adongo and Abdul Rauf Yusuf and informed them of an impending robbery operation at Old Ahingsang Estate. At about 1 a.m. on the 28th of November this year, they attacked Akwesi Duanoche and his younger brother, Prince Opoku Mensah, and severely assaulted Akwesi after he couldn't give them money when they demanded it, and made away with several of his belongings. Superintendent Nana Nyamicha Daniel is the Asokwa District Police Commander.
Upon investigation, police provisionally charged suspect with possessing narcotic drug, and he was put before a circuit court presided over by His Lordship Amoyati yesterday, and he was subsequently remanded into police custody until 18th December 2013 when he will reappear before the same court. In fact, his plea was not taken.
Suspects are currently in police custody pending investigations.
The Judicial Service is to receive close to $3 million from the Land Administration Project LAP to improve upon the adjudication of land litigation cases. The amount from the second phase of the project is to, among others, help expand the specialized land courts across all 10 regions, build the capacity of judges and staff of the Judicial Service, as well as provide the needed equipment for the land courts. This was contained in a speech delivered on behalf of the Land and Natural Resources Minister Alhaji Inusuf Hussaini at an orientation workshop for members of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs and Queen Mothers. Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
The Land Administration Project LAP1 was initiated in 2003 and aimed at stimulating economic growth, promoting social stability and reducing poverty by developing a land system that is fair, efficient and cost-effective. Under the project, provisions have been made to help the chieftaincy institution ascertain customary laws, establish customary land secretariats, and demarcate some allodial boundaries. The orientation workshop, organized for members of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs and Queen Mothers, was to afford the National Project Coordinator of the LAP program and other resource persons an opportunity to interact with traditional authorities and ensure a successful implementation of the LAP2 program. Lands and Natural Resources Minister Alhaji Inusuf Hussaini, in a speech read on his behalf, said LAP2 has already initiated steps to enable the main implementing agencies, including the Lands Commission, the Administrator of Stool Lands, and the Town and Country Planning Departments, focus on removing business bottlenecks through process re-engineering and automation of processes.
The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to extend a special invitation to the Queen Mothers here to this forum and other similar ones is in recognition of the vital and critical role played by women in land administration. Unfortunately, however, most women and the vulnerable are disadvantaged when it comes to the ownership and use of land. The Land Acquisition Project is helping to address these thorny issues, ensuring the mainstreaming of tender, particularly women and the vulnerable in all activities of LAP2.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Ephraim Avienso appealed to the participants to seek expert opinion before selling lands. He also criticized the performance of officials of the various land agencies in the region. President of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs, Dr. Na Puboy Chiri VII, chaired the function. Rafiq Salam's report from WA.
The annual Radio and Television Awards was held last night here in Accra, a show many have criticized for being very poorly organized. At the end of the night, however, Joy News emerged the television news program of the year.
Winner is Joy News at 8.
The show itself started 5 hours later than the advertised time, and both MCs billed for the night, Nigerian actress Mercy Johnson and Who Wants to Be Rich host Kafui Day, did not show up. The Nigerian actress posted on Twitter a few hours to the event that the Abuja airport had been closed. Actress Paulina Odro eventually stepped in for the show to begin. Apart from Joy News on Multi TV being adjudged television news program of the year, Joy FM's Jefferson Saki and Evans Mensah also won on the night. The award winners were grateful to the organizers.
If Ghanaians voted for me to get this, that means they have accepted it and they believe in it, and I'm so grateful to God and to all those who voted for me.
I appreciate everybody who thinks I deserve it, and those who voted for me, I say thank you.
I feel my paid use has finally been recognized. I feel excited, and basically I feel very, very happy and very thankful to God and everyone who's been very supportive. So it's been a very good night to have this television female entertainment show host of the year 2013, and I owe it all to God, to my parents, my mom and dad, to my family.
Well, it's a great feeling, you know, when you want something so bad and eventually you get it. You know, it feels like, you know, your first cup of water after walking a mile, and it's deep inside and it's really appreciated, and it came at the right time, I should say.
The guests were, however, not so impressed.
Not good. Not good. Not good. Things didn't go well at all. You know, I know they tried. I mean, they tried to put in. But, well, as a Christian, I say everything happens for a reason.
I think, honestly, there's a lot of room for improvement, as they say. It was better than last year. It was better than 2 years ago, except that it started way too late. It
was poor. It was very poor. I mean, let's be very honest. It was a very poor show. But I would say they did well that we got our plaques. Some of the awards, you know, you go backstage and they take it back from you. But the only good thing about it is that you get to go home with your award. But the entire organization, emceeing, everything was poor.
Well, the show had its own ups and downs, its hitches and everything, but ultimately it was supposed to be a night of, you know, categories and people winning awards, and that is what has happened. We were all full of expectation. We were expecting certain things to happen. We were promised so much, you know, this girl from Nigeria and Kafui Day and Amachide Day and Papa Youngson, and none of them happened, but eventually I got my award, and it's good to me.
All right, the entire Joy News team is grateful to the viewers who sent in text messages to get us the honor. More importantly, though, we need you to believe in what we're doing. We haven't quite started, actually. And I'd like to say congratulations to the entire team, to the producer, the production assistants, the cameraman, and everybody else who has made it possible. For all his work, I would say. We have business news coming up. Well, it's time now for business news, and 58-year-old Alhaji Awudu Karim from the Katsina Nankina district of the Upper East region has been adjudged the 2013 National Best Farmer. Alhaji Awudu Karim, who was not available to pick his award, will receive a 3-bedroom house to be sited at a location of his choice, a pickup vehicle and a tractor. The 29th edition of the Farmers' Day celebrations, which took place at Sogakopa in the Volta region, also saw Edward Maxwell Ainkra and Abdullah Seidu being adjudged 2nd and 3rd National Best Farmers. The celebration, which is on the theme reducing post-harvest losses for sustainable food security and nutrition, saw other garland farmers throughout the country recognized for sustaining the agri sector. Vice President Kwesi Misata called for more value addition to the country's agricultural produce.
Government is resolved to develop farmer-based organizations to enhance transfer of knowledge and skills, as well as access to resources. Farmer-based organizations are important stakeholders in the value chain and should improve efforts at reducing post-harvest losses. Industries like the Guinness Ghana Brewery Limited and Accra Brewery Limited are using cassava as raw materials for the production of beer. It is our hope that other industries will emulate their example to utilize our agricultural produce to enable the sustenance of food security and nutrition. Value addition is therefore key to reducing post-harvest losses in the value chain. As I've mentioned already, the 10 key fish processing factory at Elmina will help to reduce post-harvest losses and increase the profitability of operators in the small-scale fishing industry.
Farmers in the central region say the inability to acquire fertilizers and pesticides, among others, is hampering food production in the region as the high cost of such items frustrates them. The regional Farmers' Day ceremony was held at Efutu.
The farmers also add the unavailability of tractors to cart their goods from the farm to the market centers and the lack of ready buyers, among other hiccups, contribute to post-harvest losses, which end up draining their capital and leaving them in debt. Regional best farmer, 47-year-old Charity Akotia, who is also a teacher, mentioned scarcity of labor as another one of their key challenges.
Scarcity of labor. The access road, the road to the farms is a very vulnerable stage. Also, post-harvest losses is one of the causes. After harvest, we find it difficult to sell the goods. The market will be agitating for us. Therefore, we will not be able to realize money involved in the business. So this is making a lot of people become reluctant in the farming activity. In spite of the challenges, I will humbly appeal to the government to make the necessary equipment and tools that we use available for us, and to come on the right time. Fertilizer, for example, when the time we need it should be there, so that when we need it, we go for it. Not that when we need it, then now before you be chasing dealers up and down.
The farmers called on government to endeavor to assist them as they strive to produce food for the country and ensure workable and sustainable modules to make farming more profitable. In all, 30 farmers from 7 districts in the region received awards ranging from tricycles, mattresses, wheelbarrows, television sets and refrigerators, among others. Georgina Pierce report.
Now, the situation where farmers' produce will go bad due to the lack of storage facilities is a challenge that transcends the farm gate. Traders who take their produce off the farmers say the problem is compounded by the lack of adequate storage at the major markets such as the Techiman Central Market in the Brahafo region. Joy News' Adelaide Arthur reports the market, noted for its vibrant commercial activity, is presently in a very deplorable state.
From Kentampo, Wenchi, Akumadan, and as far as the Upper East region, various food crops are brought to the Techiman Central Market for sale. It is one of the biggest markets in the country, not by its size, but because of the huge quantities of food crops traded here. Unfortunately, the challenges facing the market are equally enormous, especially the non-existence of proper storage facilities, as a result of which the traders often have to throw away produce because they've gone bad. There are thousands of cabbages here, and this is where they will remain for the next 3 days. So if market women are unable to sell them off, they would have to be here till next week, which means that these cabbages are likely to go bad.
So kula wa mwana ebe play. Tuseze we kana makuma ko benya betre na be 400 kurefu. Ba ku bia 5,000 na 3,000. It me twa bia be 1,000. 1,000 wo mo so watun bia 600. Ye be ka bia 400 it me kamai. Maboka ndofu ni mikoton 2 million. Ali achi ambaya mi be yi ni nyina ase. Ese mi nya 2 million ni ma yanka. Timi yi na ma hwedi menya. Kuafo no mutimo odin. Ti we nke ni so de gu adaka no. So de agu. Oba na ni efe, ani ni bi ni.
But you can crash on movie at all. The middle of the iron. They say I am a cat.
And can I but say Kia, you won't say be walk Kia, we must see her. Ain't you to me the mabana and ta money in it, me say. Be so cry, what be out on. Be 10 bucks here, be 30 bucks in an answer. Be so a real good. It's mission, son, not to say. In suicide Toguma, na hit ya can. Into your problem one can or machine be any high timid young car, what they will honor, Yasumenti Hana, Yatotai, in Quebec boy.
The lack of enough sheds has also meant that majority of the traders display their goods on the bare floor, which gets muddy each time it rains, making movements by both people and especially loaded trucks very difficult.
So, Biana why be 80. And the 20 margins on 700 and 600 crowd. Would come see us won't say Satan one loss will be.
Hopefully, though, relief will come soon, as the Techiman market is one of the two in the country to be upgraded, having been provided for in the 2014 budget under the Agricultural Modernization Program.
If you look around the market, you realize that part of the market was constructed with pavement and shelves and story buildings, and part of it is really in a very deplorable condition or state. Now, the construction was in phases. The phase one was what you saw around the Kumasi station, with pavements and tiles and other things there. Then the phase two is also ongoing, where the women sell the cloth. That's the phase two. The phase three is what will cover the entire remaining place that is in deplorable condition. We have warehouse in Techiman, but it's not big enough to contain the goods that are not being able to sell out. Therefore, we are making out plans by the MCE to ensure that a big warehouse is constructed.
According to the PRO of the Assembly, the upgrade will come with a police post to curb crime, another major problem the traders have to deal with. He also tells Joy News even those who come from afar to do business will not have accommodation problems, as guest houses are also included in the modernization plan.
The market is under the Techiman Municipal Assembly, which until recently was without a municipal chief executive for about a year. All that the traders want is an environment where they can comfortably do business, as well as proper storage for their food crops in order to avoid spoilage. From the Techiman Central Market, Adelaide Arthur for Joy News.
Well, that's it for Business. Up next, we bring you sports and where Ghana finds itself in the 2014 World Cup draw. We're in Group G with Germany, Portugal, and USA. We'll be back after the break.
Joy News Business was brought to you.
All right, it's now time for sports, and George Adu Jr. is here. And of course, the big news of today, as far as sports is concerned, is that the World Cup draw has been held. And it turns out that we find ourselves in Group G.
And I call it the group of death, yes. There's Germany, there's Portugal, there's USA, and there we are, Ghana. We're meeting Germany again, you know, in the group stage, like what happened in the 2010 World Cup. There's Portugal, there's USA. It's not looking too smooth, but I'm not saying we're out of it.
No, but why? I don't quite agree with people who say that it's a group of death.
No, when we say it's a group of death, I mean
it's not the worst.
It's the strongest group. Yeah, it's the strongest group, actually. You have it on the screen. You can just be going through it right now, the groups, but just look at it carefully. The strongest group for me, I think, is Group G, because there's Germany, a powerhouse. There's Ghana, another powerhouse in Africa. There is, Portugal. You can call them a powerhouse as well, because they have Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the best player, in the world. And we're looking at what the Ballon d'Or will bring. And you have USA. The sad part with USA is Klinsmann, who was part of the German team that beat us in 2010, is now the coach of USA. So between USA and Germany, you have Joachim Löw and Klinsmann, who both work together. Between Ghana and Germany, you have two brothers. Everything that you need for a wonderful group is Group G.
How about Group A?
I mean, Group A is talking about
Croatia,
Brazil,
Mexico.
Yes, Brazil, Croatia, strong teams. Cameroon, I'm not too sure about it. Mexico, I'm not too sure about it. They've not played very well, and they still need some selling
hold on.
in there.
So, are you saying, or are you suggesting that we probably could have found ourselves in Group A in place of Cameroon?
Yeah, we could have done better there.
And that makes it what?
It will not change anything, but I think if we went there, it was not going to be the group of death, actually. I mean, what we are is very serious. You can also talk about, the other group where Spain, Netherlands, Italy, Uruguay. But yes, still, it doesn't really come up. I mean, Uruguay, Italy, yes, in one group, but it doesn't really come up. I think that the Germany, Portugal, USA, Ghana should be the group of death.
So we're going into this tournament thinking that our group is the group of death.
Yeah.
But we need to wait when we start playing.
No, we have no problem because our first game is against USA. We need to win that game. We are looking at what will happen between, Germany and Portugal. They can draw. Those are the matchups we're talking about. Look at the players on the screen.
Each World Cup has its own...
Yes, I understand that. So I'm not ruling Ghana out in any way.
No, I'm not even... I'm not saying
it's a strong one.
No, it's talking about the group of death. I think we should start playing. We should get into the tournament and then get to see which teams are going to really perform.
But pair the performances and what we're expecting from the groups, there's definitely going to be in there. There are a number of matchups in there. Rooney, Suarez, all these teams in that particular group. Then you have Messi coming up against Shola. Nigeria once again in the group with Argentina, but they had Iran and Bosnia for it. They should be able to qualify. And then our group there, you have Ronaldo, but you have Asamoah Gyan, you have Kevin Prince Boateng, you have all what you want. There's Klinsmann up against it, and he goes in. It could be also Messi up against Moses as well. David doing a fantastic job. Yaya Toure up against Falcao. And it goes on and on. Colombia is also another great team to look at. And of course, you have Van Persie Xavi. That's what I was talking about. Spain, Netherlands in that one. And you have Neymar Hernandez. It goes on and on.
Who do you think Ghana is going to put up against Cristiano Ronaldo?
Well, I don't want to go in because there are 6 months to the World Cup and a lot of things will change. Currently, our laterals are not looking too good. Fullback, right back, not looking too good. But of course, there's a lot of time and we'll get into it. We've been hearing from Coach Kwesi Appiah, who's been speaking after the draw.
Yeah.
Let's just hear from him then.
Total confidence in my players, and I believe that we give them a really good game.
Well, you agreed that you're certainly one of the favourites when it comes to the African contingent, and now having seen the teams that you're drawn in there, your realistic chance of making it through these group stages?
Oh, I believe that totally. There's no way we will not make it. We will make sure. The most important thing is making sure that we prepare very well. And no matter what teams comes your way, football is of age, and not like before. You need to mention 4 or 3 names and then everybody is scared. We've got competent players and I have total confidence that, we'll go around the first stage.
And a final word to all the Africans that are watching and obviously supporting, having known who you're going to be facing off with, just talking about the preparations and that Ghana is going to give it their all.
I think all Africans need to put their total support and prayers and anything that they can do to be behind the African teams. So that, it's important that African we prove that given the chance we can also win the World Cup.
Well, let's have a look at group.
Right now we'll go through the groups gradually so our viewers can follow. We'll first of all start with Group A. Now there you have it: Brazil, Croatia, Mexico, Cameroon. One African team there, and it's looking like they can definitely go out. We go into Group B: Spain, Netherlands, Holland. I ain't robbing all the guys. Chile, Australia.
Spain likely to go.
Spain likely to go. In Group C, Colombia, Greece, Ivory Coast, Japan. Now let's stay here for a while. Thank God, Ivory Coast finally had a draw that was kind to them. In the last 2 World Cups, it's not been good, and they've been complaining. If they don't get out of this one, that's going to be their own problem. Drogba and they likes. In Group D, Uruguay, Costa Rica, England, Italy. Again, frightening. Uruguay, Italy, strong, yes. But England, Costa Rica, we're not too sure what will happen over there. Now we get into the next group. There you have it. And this should be Israel's group, isn't it? France seeded there. You have Switzerland, Ecuador, Honduras. Well, France should be going through this one.
Yeah, looks like it.
Let's move into the next group. We'll get into the next group, and there you have Argentina. Argentina seeded here, of course. You have Bosnia, Iran, Nigeria. So Nigeria should be looking to go through this group with Argentina. If they're able to do this one.
Probably, but...
no, I mean...
There are no minnows.
No minnows Iran, yes, but Bosnia, they should
you never know.
Now here's the group of death I've been talking about. Germany, strong team Germany, strong team Portugal, and even stronger team Ghana.
Wow.
That's it. That's what you have there. And you have USA. So Ghana would, we're still going through this one. We'll come out the goal. I don't know, the hoping boys maybe, but I'm not too sure what's going to be. But
okay, so Belgium, Group H.
Now Belgium, Algeria, Russia, Korea, Republic. This is also a dicey one. Algeria might not be able to go through because...
But there are lots of people who are thinking that we probably may have...
No, this is a dangerous group because the form Belgium is in. I mean, Belgium has a fantastic, group there. That is Group H. So now, let's quickly find out what the fans have been saying. They've also been following the draw. That's what they're saying.
I think we can make it. We can support USA and other teams, which the other countries should be coming. But I know that as soon as the last cup that we didn't make it, this will really enforce us to know that we must be very eager to make it to bring the cup home.
What I'll say is Ghana are ready. Simply because when you watch 2006, people were talking that we cannot make it. And we were able to go 116, even play Brazil. And then 2010, Ghana were able to go past the stages to quarterfinal. When that go about we and Uruguay, that's the slight problem. But this time, Ghana is ready because USA, we have beat them 2 times, and I hope we'll beat them again.
Germany is not a small team. Portugal too is not a small team. But the one I said is Ghana and USA, that one way I can predict the Ghana will score US.
We played against US before, and like we beaten them twice. And I think this time, I think we are going to repeat the same thing.
Yeah, boys kasa.
Interestingly, people have already started doing the permutations. And thinking that
I have a simple one.
Which is?
We need to beat USA, then hope that Germany, Portugal draw. Then we start the calculation and we will go strong. I mean, we are good at it, and we're a very good team. The only thing is that we build gradually, and we hope that things will be, faster this time. But I'm sure we'll definitely get the win against USA.
What if we beat Germany?
Oh, I'll be surprised. So I'll be very happy about it. We'll be praying for Kwesi Appiah that all of that will happen. And so thus you have it once again on your screen. Keep that in. More prayers for the Black Stars, no doubt, all night and everything. And thank you very much. Director is doing a fantastic job, David. That'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Addy Jr. But I can tell you I'm going off to church to start praying. Hope you join me after that. He'll join us for international news. Good night.
Was brought to you in association with.
And hip-hop group Naughty by Nature has arrived in the country for the Back in the Day concert. The concert, which comes off tonight at the Accra International Conference Center, will also feature 2 of Ghana's finest rappers, Reggie Rockstone and Obrafour. Showbiz was at the airport when the duo, Vane Rock and DJ KG, arrived last night.
Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me.
You know what's up? This is Ben Rock, Naughty by Nature. Thank you for having us in the motherland. It's going to be the best show ever. Watch, we going hard.
A lot of energy, a lot of fun. Make sure you come in peace and let's just have some fun because it's going down tomorrow. Word up. Expect a lot from us. A nice long show, a lot of energy, all the hits.
There's a property. Now, lady, here comes a kiss. Blow a kiss back to me. Now tell me exactly. Have you ever known a brother who had another like a girl?
All right, so the literary community would not be left out of tributes to the departed global statesman Nelson Mandela. Well, Ghana is not being left out thanks to blogger PJ Sebastian. He's put together what is supposed to be a speech delivered by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to welcome Nelson Mandela on the other side. He joins me in the studio to render some verses from that speech. So what got you to put it all together? At what point did you decide to put this together?
Well, it was just an afterthought after I realized that, this is me. I need to put something together. I need to write something. But what would I write on? I didn't want to go through the routine that everybody was writing on, pick Mandela's speeches, put them together, and then all that. I just decided to do something unique, Okay. Kwame Nkrumah is there. Just get him to say something.
So what is the setting for this piece?
The setting is basically Kwame Nkrumah and all the glorious dead African leaders there. Mandela is sitting there, they all gathered and they all trying to welcome Mandela. So it's Kwame Nkrumah talking, giving the welcoming address, and then all of them just quietly listening, just Kwame Nkrumah doing his typical rhetorics.
Let's hear you.
Sire, it is with great honor and humility that we all gathered here at this very exciting moment to welcome you as one of our own. A mighty and accomplished son of the land has joined us today, not as a fallen hero, as the living would want us to believe, but as a legend and an immortal for all time. We have waited for this day for a long time. We have stood at the gate of time and eternity, hoping and praying for you to be free and feel ageless again. Alas, today, you have obliged us and joined the choicest array of gallant men whom through their sweat and blood and back have fought every kind of battle to make the lot of our people a better one. Some of us were given bad names and hanged like the proverbial dog. You, however, most wisely learnt enough at the early stage of sleeping with the enemy in the same bed and slipping out with your throat intact. It is, however, important we state that the task ahead of those who are alive and attempting to walk in our shoes is a huge and tremendous one. And you will appreciate my daily trepidation as I sit here and watch petty politics and misguided ambition take their eyes off the focal point of their shot. In the 50s, we took a shot at the future. A future where the African was capable of managing his own affairs. A future where the black man was not disadvantaged because of his skin color. We looked at a future where doors opened to the black man because of what he was able and capable of bringing to the table economically, intellectually, ideologically, and politically. It was a future where anybody from any part of the imperialist world would visit us and leave with all doubt erased about our competence and ability to take our mutual destiny into our own hands and carve out our names across the skies with iron indelibility. Our desire was to turn clockwise the wheel of industrialization, education, infrastructure, health, science, commerce, commercial agriculture, effective and equitable tax regimes, and complete control and harnessing of our natural resources in such a manner that makes it a natural consequence that controlling the pricing of such economy movers becomes the order of the day. We desired to build a future where standing armies were trained and well equipped to deal with any conflict and have a say in the world of defense. I once saw a future where we were also armed to the teeth with every conventional and high-tech weapon that technological advancement could permit us to have, so we could ward off an imperialist aggression from any part of the world. Ambitious but achievable were our desires. And it was not because they were us-driven. No. What we carried was immaculate conception. And what drove it was heaven itself. From the days of Steve Biko to Brother Gaddafi, leaders who oppose imperialist agenda have been martyred in order to silence us. Look around you, Madiba. Look at all the faces that have gone down, some painfully, some peacefully. But one thing I know you have learned to do is to live with your enemies peaceably. Here you will have to live with some of your cruelest oppressors, like Tolbert and Doe are doing. And I'm sure you have realized that Frifa and General Ankra are also sitting close to my left flank. We all share a common vision and a goal to pray that what we were not able to achieve in our lifetime, those who have followed after us will sober down, keep calm and screw their heads on well and get to the business of the day and not be distracted by bantering media personalities. We welcome you, Nelson Mandela. Enjoy your stay. In the course of the day, a lot more of our comrades will come and see you. We assure you of our support during this adjustment period. Feel at home. Feel safe. Please, my office is open unto you always. Thank you.
Right, interesting piece put together by PJ Sebastian. That's it for Showbiz. Right, that's it for the bulletin. Before I go, though, a quick round through our top story. Tributes continue to pour in from around the world for departed anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela. His body, meanwhile, will lie in state from December 11 until 15, with an official memorial service at the FNB Stadium expected to be attended by an array of global leaders and celebrities. 58-year-old Upper East Region farmer Alhaji Awudu Karim adjudged National Best Farmer. Ghana to face Germany, Portugal and USA in Group G at 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Enjoy news on Multi TV, adjudged Best News Station RTP Awards. That's it for the bulletin. My name is Israel. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com.